They are our inspiration, our hope, mentors, and game changers. They are your leaders in the political arena, business world, entertainment, and in the paradise of sports. We bring you their stories on the Profile 256. Let's sit, learn, and get to know them better than we do. Only on Shutia TV.
It is the third episode of the Profile 256, and today we are at the Media Challenge Initiative, and we shall be speaking, or we shall be sharing with the CEO of the Media Challenge Initiative, and that is none other than Mpindi. He is a gentleman that was recognized by one of the most admired men in the world, that is Barack Hussein Obama, who commented saying he was working tirelessly towards training the different young people in Uganda to change the narrative of telling the stories of the African continent or of the world. Join me to welcome Mr. Mpindi.
Thank you.
Yes, so did you ever dream to be the kind of person you are today?
I wouldn't say that I had a clear picture of what I have become. I would say that I wanted success.
That's all.
And whatever you define that as at every level. I think that I wanted, in terms of career as a young person, I was excited about being on TV or being a journalist. I didn't see myself in management or starting organizations or entrepreneurship. I don't know when I first heard about leadership or entrepreneurship.
First things first, who is Mpindi? Where are you born? Your mom, your dad?
Yeah, that's a long story. I can.
Where are you born?
Yeah, I'm born to a beautiful woman called Kanyus Jacqueline. She's a lady from Fort Portal, and my dad was a gentleman from Buganda. So what you see here is a mix of tribes. Yeah, and I would say that for me, I grew up with my mom and my grandmother, and I think I saw my dad only once. So
at the age of?
I think I saw my dad probably like 2 or 3 years. Yeah. And growing up was my mom, who was my mother, and my grandmother, who was my dad. And then I had, as a community or extended families, I had family members who took care of me from both sides of my father and my mom. Yeah.
So which schools did you go to? Primary?
I went to Buziga Islamic, where I completed my primary 7. And then I went to St. Leo's College, Chegovi, one of the historical schools, where I completed senior 4 and 6. So I was in one school for 6 years, and yeah, that was a test of time.
So while in school, which kind of person were you? Were you into debating? Were you into music? Were you into agriculture or any technology stuff or Red Cross club that were you involved in?
I was a very, I would say, lively, engaging, interactive, and stubborn child as a student. In school, I was playing football. I was a school captain at one point. And I can say I brought home some trophies as a football captain. A lot of people don't know, but I'm very good at sprinting. So I did, run, participate in athletics. as a sprinter. I always joke that I could go against Usain Bolt, but that's a conversation for another day. But I think, honestly, if resources were available, I could have made a very good football player as a defender or a sprinter. Because there were very many signs for that. And then I was more excited about, I was very engaging in music, dance, and drama. I wasn't very, I wasn't like an academic or a student who was
bookworm.
Yeah, I wasn't a bookworm.
So, getting to throw back a bit, you said you only saw your dad once.
Yes.
Why did it happen that way? What led to that?
So my mom was young when she got pregnant, and so because then you're moving back and forth.
Is mommy and daddy still around?
No.
None of them.
So my dad died when I was really young, and so in that process, I was moving from of course, I was moving from Fort Portal to Kampala.
Okay.
So what happened was, when I was young, I'll tell you this story. When I was very young, probably like 5 months or so, I got measles. Terrible measles that I was in a coma. So I almost died. Because of that, I had not yet met my dad, so I didn't have a name. Mine was just like a little kid with no name. So when I was sick, my mom and my mother's family thought that it would be prudent to baptize me before I die. And so my name, that most people don't know, that you will get to know today, is Gonzaga.
Wow.
Which is named after one of the Uganda martyrs. So it's a good name. And because maybe of that name, I survived, I didn't die. So a few days after the baptism, I survived, I don't die, because everyone expected that I would die. And then this kid survives, and then he has to meet his dad. And my dad was a Muslim, so I think he must have gotten furious about, baptizing, this Muslim kid. And so they took me to the mosque, circumcised me, and then I became Abbas. Wow. And then I got his name, Mpindi, for the Mamba clan. Yeah. And then after that, we traveled back with my mom to Fort Portal. And I think some time later, I don't remember how many years later, we heard that he had died.
You just had?
Yeah, I was very young. As a kid, I don't think I really paid attention because I didn't have this close relationship with the person. But now when you look back, you think about, the process, and you kind of understand that even if back then you didn't have a relationship with that person because you're still young and you hadn't spent time together, you actually do have a relationship with that person. There is an attachment that, you're actually on this earth because of this man. Yeah.
So now you're at the age of 3?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Okay.
But I know these events happened.
And you're with your mom?
Yes.
So how was life after that?
Beautiful. I had, I think, the most exciting childhood as growing up with my mom and my grandmother. I was pampered a lot. But also, I think my mom and my granny, they did a great job to raise me, to make sure I have everything, make sure I go to school, have basic needs, clothes, food. I don't think I have like a background where you say, oh my God, I suffered so much. No, I never. I mean, I tell my story from like value-based story of these two amazing women made me who I am because they challenged me to think out of the box. They pushed me to be a leader in the family. You know, when you ask things like, oh, we don't have sugar, or we need this, they say, oh, you're the man in the house, do something about
So
it. But
in which year did your mom pass on?
I think 1994.
94 years. Nursery.
I don't remember. But I was in primary.
Oh, primary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably like.
And how was life like after, she has been pampering you and now this is a time she's normal?
As a young kid, I think there's that gap of, your mom is not there. You miss your mom.
You stayed with your grandma?
But my grandmother was a pillar. Things didn't seem to change much. I don't have like sometimes people tell when like they lose parents, things go sad or absurd. Personally, I think that I saw in every challenge that came after that as an opportunity to to be better. So for example, I moved a lot. So moved from like families, moved to different relatives who took care of me, my uncle, who is now my guardian. And my uncle basically took care of everything now. Educated me, took me to schools that I needed to go to. So I would say there was a prepared platform. But again, this is your parent, so it's sad to be without. But I've also now looked at what does it mean. Like for me, I've seen losing like my grandmother and my mother. I have tried to rethink the idea of
your grandmom also?
Yeah,
also.
later. I think.
Which year?
I think 2015, around there.
2015.
Yeah, but the idea of, I'm not really good with numbers. That's the other thing. The idea of death for me is no longer the painful process. Death for me is renewing our relationship with people who have been there. I believe that when people die, they live in us. And what I become now is who they would have wanted to be. So if I become a reckless person, or if I become, horrible human being, they won't be happy wherever they are. But I now live to create a legacy, to create, something important in the world, because I believe that they are not gone, but they live through me. Like for me, I look at this in terms of people grow, live their life, and then they get to their end. And then they have made sure that there are other people that come after. So it's a continuation.
So you educated for primary and secondary. What next after high school? What were your plans? What were you looking up to?
So my turning point happens when my grandmother dies, actually. So there I become a rebel, kind of, because I think at home there no one was really very clear about who I am. So I became a rebel at home and started to, go dancing, do all the crazy things. The things that I didn't do though. I never used drugs or alcohol, never. But I used to love being out there in clubs, dancing with friends and all that. So I kind of thought at a certain point that I was going to be a professional dancer. So I started a dance group with friends in my senior 6 vacation. And for the whole vacation,
how were you when it came to sciences and then arts while in school for high school?
I was definitely never a scientist. Okay, that's not my...
Okay.
And I think it's important for everyone to acknowledge where they have core strength. And I think it's also important for parents to see where their children have a strength, so that you don't push. Of course, it's important for us to be encouraged to, be successful in other subjects or areas, but you need to know where my strength is. And for me, it was never sciences. It was more.
So You're done with your senior 6. How many did you get in senior 6? Or you don't recall since you're not good at numbers?
Oh, that one I know was really good. So, but the story is, I started this dance group and I spent the whole vacation just dancing in schools and promotions, whatever. And I knew that I was never going to go to the university because I thought, I had never scored anything above maybe 15 points. So I thought, this is it. I'm going to be a dancer. We'll keep this dance group. We'll keep doing this, get some money. That's it. But I didn't know that, Uganda, the dance industry it's not something that you can really rely on. We are not yet there. So towards the end of my vacation, the exams come back and I had scored 20 points.
Wow.
This was my first time to get 20 points. And in addition, I had gotten a government scholarship. Wow. So someone who thought, I'm never going to the university, now has to go to the university all of a sudden. So my life turns around.
Which university was it?
They gave me a government scholarship in Chambogo. So I went to Chambogo and did adult and community education as a first course. And this is hilarious because someone who didn't think that they would go to the university, now they are at the university trying to figure out life in a course that I first didn't really like. But it's also one of the courses that shaped who I am today because it introduces you to community development and introduces you to kind of rehabilitating others and rehabilitating yourself. And for me, that course shaped the basic foundation of like leadership, community work, development, sensitivity to other, people in their different categories.
So you're done with the course, 3 years?
So I do this course, but I knew that at the back of it, what I didn't tell you is that when I was young, maybe like 7 or so, my granny didn't go to school, so she wanted to know journalism and media and what's going on, news and all these things. So we're like, switch on the TV, switch on radio, switch on, read for me what's in the newspapers, old newspapers, interpret from English to Rutoro. And you could see the spark in her eyes. Like once she knew what was happening in Rwanda, in other countries, she would be like, wow, you would see like this changes people's lives. And that's how I fell in love with journalism. So I knew that journalism can make the world a better place from a very young age. So as I go through all this life, I know like I want to become a journalist. I want to be that. But my world is not aligning towards that dream that I have. So I'm in a course that it's not journalism, but okay, I do it. And towards the end of the course, I finished this course and then I got a scholarship to do a master's. And I want to do master's in journalism.
The same course?
No, any master's. So I go to Makerere to ask for journalism and they say, oh no, you don't have any experience in journalism, so you can't do a master's. My world again is not aligning towards that dream. And so I say, okay, I will go to UMCAT and I study media as a diploma so that I can master journalism. Long story short, I go to UMCAT and start doing journalism there. And then I realized maybe I don't need to do a master's in journalism again. So I enroll again for master's in international relations at Makerere. So, and then I have another course online. So I was doing 2 masters online, and then 1 in Makerere, and then doing UMCAT.
Wow, how were you juggling all that?
Well, just planning.
You had a master's, international
2
relations.
masters.
Okay, 1 was of international relations at Makerere. Then the other?
International development.
Online.
Yeah. And we finished everything. We graduated in all, so to say. No, but then it's at UMCAT where I meet, the dream for MCI
UMCAT
starts.
and 2 masters at the same time. Wow.
I was also working at a certain point. Then I stopped.
Where were you working?
I won't mention that.
No, for the viewer out there, someone wish to know, because they might see the outer person today.
I was writing proposals for a security company.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're done with your
So I
masters?
stopped working there, and then I joined. I focus on education. Yeah. Then I finished the online master. I finished UMCAT online masters, and then I finished the. Yes, but that's where the dream of journalism, media challenge initiative. That's where it starts at UMCAT.
How?
So we had at UMCAT we had this cultural event where we would bring people together, and so we started to think about like, what if we organize like a competition for ourselves at the school, and then from there I was thinking, yeah, this works. So I went to ask for an internship at a media house, and I was stopped. Not really stopped, but someone just told me, oh, you need to know someone inside.
Which
and I
media
think
house?
no need for that. So
No, of course.
maybe it's Shootier
we
TV.
Can, no, we can get to.
No, the
Was it
experience.
UBC or WBS? Because there were few by then. And of
No,
course,
really.
You'd look out for probably WBS or,
No, really.
or UBC. Which one was it?
There's a reason why. This is a story I share.
Yes, sorry, but of course someone will think about it. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Let's
So,
go.
anyways, I think the person that I met at the reception also didn't have information. She basically said, "Oh, you need internship, but you may need someone to know someone internally." And I think I walked very angry away because I was thinking, I don't need to know anyone. I
True.
just need an internship. You either have or you don't have. Then you let me go. So as I'm walking back, I'm thinking, I have the passion, the skills, the drive. I had I have my small camera. I don't like, this is it. I can do this. But then I'm thinking, how many other young people are
Going through the
same process? So I go back, we had already done this concept at the uni, at the UMCAT. And so I say, okay, we'll write a concept. I write this concept named the Bala Francis News Anchoring Competition. And then my colleagues, Simon, Antonio, Ivan, and other guys at UMCAT, we go to Bala Francis and say, hey, we want to start this competition named after you. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I think you guys should do it. This is a good idea, but on one condition. Don't expect me to be, mobilizing money for you. And I say, we don't need any money from you. We just need your blessing, and that's it. And that's how we started an annual news anchoring competition named after Bala Francis. 1 year, we organized a horrible event. He appreciates and he says, it's a good work. I'm proud of you guys. We give up, but we say, then we give up, and then we realize that actually the people that participated and didn't like the way we had organized it benefited from it. And now they were looking for me and saying, hey, this is good. We should do it again. And then we talked to the team. As we were graduating from UMCAT, we meet a government official called Simon Mayende from the ministry, who basically says, okay, I can support you. And that's where we start.
Your journey has some bit of writing proposals here and there. I think I should admit you could be good at writing proposals, but what do you think pushed you to be a good proposal writer? Is it because you had studied the masters, in that now you have 2 masters now? Proposals was something that would be so easy for you, or is it because of your sharp mind?
I would say that it's really not a sharp mind, but it's just ability to think about like a concept. Because a proposal is nothing but a concept. Like, you come up with this profile 256, it's a concept. And then if you want, the proposal is like, hey, I have this concept that I want you to support, or I want you to be part of. Without a concept, you don't have a proposal. The proposal is you saying, if you need, for example, proposal for support, I want to come into that because there is a certain concept that I'm supporting. So for me, I would say one of my really core strengths is developing concepts, from silly things, silly thoughts, to like very brilliant thoughts, maybe at midnight or 3 a.m. in the morning, where you say, wow, this would really be good. And you know, sometimes concepts don't have to be, like this is a concept, for example, you know, like we want a background that has, you know, African, you know, music and all that. But it could also be a concept that is addressing a certain problem. There's this challenge, or a concept that is bringing people together to network or to work on something in a certain way. So for me, I would say that's more like the thinking process. Once you're able to do a concept, you definitely can do the proposal, because then the other things are.
Okay, the journey of the media challenge starts 1 year, 2 years. How many years down the road now?
Man, when you look back, I think you can't believe that it's been like 7 or so years. Because as a movement, I would say as an exciting event movement, we
Movement.
are, yeah.
Not
because,
political.
No, not political movement. I mean, of course, or maybe political as well, because we are all politicians in one way or another. So when we started, we wanted to just do one event every year, bring journalism students together, compete, and then that's it. And then invite media, they see your work. And then we all go back home and chill, do our work. So we did that for 12, 13, 14.
2013.
Yeah, 2013, 2012, 2013, 2014. 15, we added another concept. The Media Challenge Awards. Why? Because we were having a struggle to get the media to appreciate this concept. So we, not that many people appreciated it in the media industry, but we wanted to get more. So the awards night changed the game and became one of those calendar days for the media fraternity in Uganda. And then when we were still now excited about the awards night, students started to say the events are good, but we need more trainings, practical trainings. And we knew from our background that there is a total lack of practical skills that the market needs.
Yeah.
And that's how this space, the Media Challenge Academy, was born. That we put our savings together, we bought a few equipment, we rented the space, furnished it ourselves, created a feel of like, I would love to study here myself as a student if I had a chance. So the academy happened. Now I want to tell you that between 2012 and 2015 or 16, we are just a group of young people who are just passionate pushing the agenda.
So
no support, nothing.
I believe organizing those awards called for expenses or some bit of income.
Yeah.
Where are you getting this income from?
So, I mean, strategically, what we did is we go to ask for support from people and not money. So a lot of times as young people, we want to get financial support.
Yes.
But there's more support you can get for your concept. So I would go to, for example, the Serena and say, hey, we need a venue. What can we do? Okay, this is a proposal we have. And if you're lucky, or if you are able to align with the values of the space, then you get the space. Or we get the government of Uganda to support some of the categories that we have. So we would get people who would support you in kind. Like a company that does awards will say, okay, we'll give you an award or 2 or 3 of them. And then compensation is on showcasing their work at the events.
There's a particular time when the president invited different stakeholders to the State House.
Yes.
And you're part of them. And everyone kept on asking, so even the Media Challenge C has been invited.
Yeah.
Is anything big coming out of this kind of meeting, him being part of this? What was it all about?
So I was selected on the National Task Force for adoption of the Fourth Industrial Revolution in Uganda. The background to that is the emerging technologies that we need to be part of as a country. But we didn't have a strategy or a guiding plan for it. So a selected task force was put in place to lead in terms of supporting to come up with a strategy for the nation. So I was lucky to be selected to serve.
Did the Media Challenge initiative benefit in any way?
No. This is more, the work is more me as an individual. I would say maybe based on the work that I've done at MCI, to be able to contribute to that cause of developing, guiding the nation. So it has nothing to do with MCI.
Oh, then we got to see you be part of the Obama Foundation.
Yes.
Did you ever dream that if I apply or one day I might be part of this kind of team? How did it come?
Maybe just before that, the other thing that is exciting also about the task force is the work that we are doing on making sure that we have a proper strategy and plan for the nation. That's something that will be coming up, and it will be really exciting to see how we can domesticate the different technologies in the different areas.
Is this a voluntary kind of service, or
yes,
a payroll and something like that?
Payroll. No, it's a service. It's a public service you offer, and you can be appreciated, but it's a service. It's not a paid position. For the Obama Foundation, the Obama Leaders Program started in 2018, and the Obama Foundation brings together 200 young leaders in Africa together for to shape them as leaders based on the values of the foundation, and also to bring this network of really talented young leaders on the continent to know each other, to network, to understand what are some of the synergies that we have that we're not taking advantage of. So I was lucky again to be selected among the first 200 young leaders. We met in South Africa for 5 days. Oh yeah, you have to apply. It's an application process. And I think that's one of the best things that have happened to me.
So how did you feel like when the most admired man is recognizing you? Did you see it coming?
I didn't see it coming, to be honest. I would say that's also one of the best things that have happened to me. It's very hard to describe to people how that was, but it's also very scary. It was very scary for me to leave that moment and to know that this actually happened. But the bigger challenge, though, to that is to live up to that.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to get this mention, but it's another now to be that. Like, you have now the pressure, and I wouldn't say pressure, but you have the opportunity to be, to do that work and make sure that you can kind of like don't
disappoint. You need to
not ideally disappoint, but just like really, this is a great opportunity for me. I need to do this work and I need to do it better. So that at least those words, it was like a confession. So it has to be, confession is that word. But I have to leave it. Yeah.
So how is your day like?
Chill. I would say, it's a mix of things, honestly. I don't have a defined day.
I wake up, I do this, and this time I do this.
Wake up, pray, check any updates on the phone, do my workout, call my colleagues, especially people I work with, to see what plans, especially now during COVID. I mean, things changed, so things that are core now that we need to work on, and then focus on my to-do list for the day. I'm not a 9 to 5 person, so sometimes it's just 9 to 1 or 9 to 12. Sometimes it's 9 to midnight.
Wow.
Sometimes it's up to 3 a.m. So it's not healthy at all.
So as we get to the conclusion, do you have that one particular moment that you say it was one of the most saddening moment, a moment that broke you down in life, that you look back and reflect and you're like, that moment is one of my worst moments? No. You don't?
I don't have...
Everything has just been good?
No, I don't. I don't have... I have moments that, make me feel like, oh man, make me feel sad, but I don't have moments. I think now, I feel like when I look back at each and every moment that I've been through, well, as it could have been painful then, I will not give it power today to say it broke me down. Because each and every sad moment that I can remember has had like an impact, a greater impact on me today of like who I've become, the lessons I've learned. So each and every of those really have happened. And of course you would say the loss of my mom, my granny, but even those moments, they were very, very sad and powerful. But at the same time, those are moments that I also cherish, that I was able to celebrate those individuals and see them and come there.
And then your happiest moment?
My happiest moment is every day,
Not the Obama moment when
I mean, it's one of them, but if you ask me what's my best moment, is really being here at MCI, working with the guys here, working with the team, seeing where we've come from. Like, there's a reason to that. Like, that's for me, like every day, every morning. Like, if I don't want to come, I remember like people that I work with and then say. But obviously, a moment like getting a mention from President Barack Obama also ranks very high in terms of it's special. It's a one-off. It's opened doors for me and for the Media Challenge initiative. It still continues to open doors because people keep asking, people keep following that. So it's very special in its own way. But the other thing that most people don't think about is, for me, I think the best time is when I reflect about like things that I take for granted about who I've been and whom I'm becoming. And then that feeling of comfort that I think I have changed, or I think I'm growing, or I think, and those moments are very special for me because you get inspired to like, okay, this year I'll get to do better. And then,
so where do you see the Media Challenge initiative in the next 5 years?
I'm never excited about
Where do you see it? What are the plans?
I'm never excited about answering 5-year plans. Because for me, first of all, I like to live in the now. Like, let's do things now. And those things that you do now change what's gonna happen in 5 years. Yes. 5 years. So I can have like an idea of like, man, I would love to have this and that. I would love to do this and that. But ultimately, if I don't leave now, because for me, what I can control, I believe is today, like here, even maybe just now, this conversation that we're having. And if I say horrible things right now,
Okay.
people are just be like, it's just now, like you said that. And that 5 years from now, people will look at that and say, can you imagine you said this? So MCI has a definite journey that it's taking in terms of becoming a hotspot of journalism innovation or media innovation space that, you know, young people can call home. I mean, even now, but we want to be able to to create a space that is more innovative, more producing more innovations from young people, that everyone sees as a center of excellence or media excellence or journalism excellence. But I don't see MCI can just go and disappear. But the people, for me, I think I want to see like 5 years from now where you will be. You know, like the people who have been in MCI, like for me, that's MCI rather than the organization or the office.
So it's the happiness.
Yes, like the idea of like, oh, so and so who went through this program
Is ABCD.
has been able to do this impactful work and project. So being able to follow up those stories, even if, you know, my children, for example, that I will have in the future.
Are you married?
No. The idea of looking at the children that you have to say you will some of the impactful stories that came out of that project.
Okay, allow me go political a bit. Political.
Why?
A bit. Allow me.
Yes.
There is this idea of the scientific campaigns.
How is that necessary?
Yes, I do understand you.
All right.
As someone training young people to be on TV or do this and ABCD. Do you think it is the right move to take? As someone that is training most of these people.
What's the right move?
The scientific campaigns to be taken in a bid to control the spread of the COVID-19.
I mean, absolutely.
So you agree with it?
I totally think that for us to be able to protect ourselves, our people from, you know, COVID-19 and the spread of it, we need to do anything possible to avoid concentrations, to avoid people, you know, mingling together. Because, I mean, looking at what is happening in other countries and the spread, I think that we have to be super serious about it.
Oh. So that one person that wants to be like you, what message do you have to them? That last message you'd send out to that person watching and like, wow, I would also like to be like a Mpindi one day. What should that kind of person do to be a person like you?
Don't be like me. Don't be like me. Be better than me. And, you know, you can't be me because you have a better version of you. And I think that you should work towards that better version. You can seek inspiration from, I don't know, me or other people that are out there doing crazy work or just having their own impact in their own way. And use their inspiration to just be who you want to be rather than, you know, wanting to be like me.
Are you a registered voter?
Yes.
So who will you be voting come 2021?
I think that's a secret.
Mr. Mpindi Abbas, the CEO of the Media Challenge Initiative, has shared with us his story, and I think you've gotten to learn more about him, and I think you've been inspired, or you will be inspired after watching this story. This particular episode has been powered by the Media Challenge Initiative. Of course, Mark Mugaga on the camera, and Shutia Media Uganda for the production part of it. Thank you.
They are brave. They are our inspiration, our hope, mentors, and game changers. They are your leaders in the political arena, business world, entertainment, and in the paradise of sports. We bring you their stories on the Profile 256. Let's sit, learn, and get to know them better than we do. Only on Shutia TV.